movie lovers, welcome to another episode of Does It Hold Up News, where we talk about some of the latest breaking news in film and television, and of course, the box office. I'm Adam.
And I'm Emily, and we're starting with the box office.
The top 5 for this past weekend were, number 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, jumping up from the 3rd spot last week, which is crazy. It reclaimed the first spot in its 4th week in release, with $19,003,633, a 30% drop on last week. Pretty good hold. This movie just keeps going. Number 2, Elemental in its 2nd week with $18,444,461 for only a 38% drop.
That's not terrible.
That's not bad. Now, that would be a really good hold if it had opened to 100 million plus, but considering where it opened last week, it's okay.
It's hard when it's going against another kid-friendly movie of Spider-Man, which is just better.
Much more beloved, yes.
Yeah.
And in its 2nd week, at number 3, we have The Flash, with $15,142,575 for a whopping 72% drop. That is a news story in and of itself that we will break down a little bit when we are done with the box office. In number 4, in its debut week, No Hard Feelings, the Jennifer Lawrence R-rated comedy, which we do have a review for out on the channel right now. Check it out. It took in $15,023,770. And in the 5th spot, Transformers Rise of the Beasts in its 3rd week, taking in another $11,754,621 for only a 43% drop.
At least that one finally held on a little bit better than it has been.
It held on pretty good last week, too. It's consistent. I think this is one of those movies that might just hang around a little while. It could still be in the top 5. Probably not much too longer as you get more and more movies coming out in July, but I think until about mid-July, we're going to see it hanging around in this top 5.
I was going to say, as soon as there's another bigger tentpole movie coming out, it might just lose its hold.
Absolutely, but it's done pretty well so far. Let's take a look at these movies and what they've currently made at the box office since their release. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has crossed that $300 million threshold with $316,754,279. That is massive. That is a great take for this movie.
So that is a very healthy number.
Absolutely. Elemental so far has taken in $65,496,376. I think it's going to cross that $100 million mark.
I'm not sure it has the legs for it.
I mean, only falling 38%. If it can stick around that kind of decline, it's going to make 10 to 15 million over the next couple of weeks, and you only need to do it twice to reach that 100 million. So, We're going to pay attention to that one. Here's a real disappointment, though. The Flash in its 2nd week has only taken in $87,521,078. Oh boy.
Yeah, that one, it should get over 100, but it might just get there.
If it has another drop like it did this week, it has no hope of reaching that 100 million. Yeah. But we shall see. And then No Hard Feelings, what it made this weekend is what it's made so far. And Transformers Rise of the Beast has a very good number so far in only its 3rd week. $123,102,332.
It's all right. It could be better.
Of course, any movie could be... I mean, Spider-Man could be better, but the fact that it's a movie nobody really had any hopes for, it's crossed the $100 million mark, not even by a little, a hefty amount, and I think it's going to keep rising. I'm going to say it's probably going to end up around the $140 to $150 million mark, and for a movie that nobody cared about, and that critics were bashing when it came out, that's a success. It just has to be. All right, that's it for the box office stuff. Let's go ahead and get into some of the news. What'd you bring to the table this week?
I actually kind of want to start off with The Flash, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, apparently a full movie of it, the full thing, was leaked on Twitter over the weekend.
The whole movie?
The whole movie.
First of all, how do you get a full movie on Twitter?
So, apparently... with the blue level subscription that Elon Musk put in, you can have bigger files and longer videos on Twitter. And apparently that was an issue I don't know how valid it was, but apparently that happened with Mario as well, but not as like bad. They got it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But this one stayed on Twitter for a full 8 hours and got 1.7 million views. I mean, it was a cam footage, so seriously, someone just brought a camera into the theater and did it. But you know someone copied it off of Twitter, and now it's just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, can we just pause real quick?
Yeah.
Don't do that, guys.
No.
Like, I understand movies can be expensive sometimes, but a lot of hard work and a lot of people work on these things, and all you're basically doing is taking money from them.
Yeah.
You're not taking money from the actor. The actor's going to get paid no matter what. They're going to find jobs. Plus, they're worth millions anyway already. But as somebody who's worked on numerous film sets, below-the-line jobs, and a couple above-the-line jobs, just saying. But as somebody who's done that, like, you're hurting us more than you're hurting the studio, more than you're hurting the actors or the producers or the directors, or you're not hurting them. You're hurting the guy who built the set, the person who plugged lights in, the person who runs the camera. Those are the people that are going to suffer. So please just don't.
I mean, I've been seeing it a lot on YouTube, even with people just taking cell phone camera footage while you're in the theater, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, get off your phone in the theater too.
What? Just enjoy the experience. You're there to see a movie.
Absolutely. But that's interesting. I wonder if... So you said what day did it go out on Twitter?
It went out early on the 25th, so Sunday.
Okay, so just Sunday.
Yeah.
So that does not excuse...
Not
its
as bad.
drop at the box office, because Friday and Saturday weren't very good for it either.
Yeah, it's just if we continue to see it nosedive, that would probably be why.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's also just not a good movie, but that is a historic drop for a superhero movie. There are only few other movies that have done that. Usually we see big movies like that open up to 100, 140. They drop like 65%. Mm-hmm. This one only opened to 55 and then dropped 72%. That's unheard of for these types of movies. Like, I don't know how to feel about that.
It was all the people who had to see it just for those little spoilers, just for those things for Batman. And now that those are kind of out there in the world, people are like, I don't want to go see it. I don't want to support some guy who's had all these issues.
But I don't even think it's the issues thing. This is really WB's fault, DC's fault. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, this is their fault. They're going to watch this movie fail. They're going to watch Aquaman fail. And I understand that the post-credit scene of The Flash is trying to get people interested in going to see Aquaman 2, whatever the hell it's called. But let's be honest here. People are done with DC. Until we roll out that new slate of movies that James Gunn and David Zaslav has promised us, who cares?
Honestly, I think if the news came out with this movie having changed up and did the whole rebirth of the DCU, had Flash had an impact on where that is going, more people would have gone to see it. But
That's
knowing
fair.
that they had already kind of burned that entire universe to the ground, and they're like, hey, come check us out, though.
Yeah.
This is the old universe, but come check us out.
It's just bad. I imagine Flash will end up on HBO Max, or as it's now known, just Max, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Especially with a I would say somewhat of a quality leak.
Yeah.
If that many people were watching it, it must
was
have
apparently
not been terrible.
A decent quality,
Yeah. So watch it get pulled from theaters pretty soon and go to streaming so people can check it out. Hopefully they'll get your monthly dollars, I guess.
This is a Black Adam all over again, with a quality version getting out there and they just pulling it.
I think I would rather watch The Flash than Black Adam, though.
Oh, definitely.
And I didn't like Flash at all, so...
Flash was okay for me.
Goes to show you how much I hated Black Adam. You have anything else? What else do you want to bring to the table?
Just the idea that there's some speculation that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, whatever the next one is going to be, Beyond the Universe, is not likely to actually meet the time frame that they were quoted.
Okay.
Simply because there's been so many people coming out of the woodwork, animators-wise, saying that it is a terrible working relationship. Basically, over 100 of them either were fired or quit while making it. They had issues where you're given unrealistic time frames, and they were having to change everything last minute.
Wow.
So you would have it all done and then be like,
it's not new.
We don't like that.
It's not new, though. Hollywood has been demoralizing animators for years.
I was
now.
gonna say slightly abusing it.
Well, we've seen it with Disney and Marvel in particular as of late. There's a ton of stories coming out with Marvel where that's one of the reasons Kevin Feige has backed down production on a lot of things and has said, we're going to slow down making stuff. We're going to put more quality into them. There's going to be larger gaps between when things come out and when things are announced, because everybody could see the quality was suffering. And one of the major things, especially in a show like She-Hulk, which was one of their last big things, animation was bad.
Yeah.
Quantumania, it was okay, but there was moments where you're just like, this CGI is bad. Guardians even had moments where I was like, it's okay. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's bad. Mm-hmm. They're just overworking all of these people and putting unrealistic expectations on them, and you just can't live up to that. I know CGI is like really big right now, but maybe we should go back to using some more practical stuff too, so that these animators aren't worked that hard and can actually put out good quality stuff, because I guarantee you a lot of these animators are not happy with the work they're putting out either. Even if they're getting praised, they're probably like, oh, you know how much better I could have made that if I would have just had the time to do it right? Mm-hmm. And that's just a big problem, just in Hollywood across the board. But it's supposed to be coming out March 2024.
Yeah.
I said this when we first saw it. I don't expect to see it until summer next year.
It, honestly, unless they were working on it almost at the same time, I could not see it taking that short amount of time. That is a lot of animation and a lot of detail goes into those movies. So either you're going to have so many burned out animators or things need to change.
Yeah, and it's none of the actors, as far as I know, have recorded any of their lines for the movie yet either. So if we're still working on that, we're going to be far out. I know that's still about 8 months, 9 months away from its release, but they'd be cutting it close.
Yeah, movies can take 1, 2, 3 years, sometimes more to get made, and it's like, take your time and give us something quality.
Absolutely.
Not that Across the Spider-Verse isn't quality, it is wonderful quality, but you hurt a lot of people to get there.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll pay attention to that for you guys, so always check back in with us and we'll update you whenever we hear something new about what's going on with Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
All right, a couple things that I have is Warner Brothers acquired Turner Classic Movies when they merged with Discovery and became Warner Brothers Discovery. I love Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah.
It's a TV station that just plays classic movies, and usually with a critic or actor or something introduction to the movie, so you get a little behind the scenes, a little knowledge about it before watching the movie, all commercial free. It's an amazing channel. If you've never checked it out, you should definitely check it out. But Warner Brothers is trying to cut costs, and they are completely gutting TCM. They are going from about 90 employees, and as of our recording, they're looking to cut it down to about 20 employees. They're cutting 65 to 70% of their workforce.
How?
I don't know. A lot of people are very upset. By all rights, they should be. Even Paula Shagnon, who was the chief at TCM for the last 2 decades, quit. She walked out. She
just straight up quit.
She just left. She exited and was like, I don't want to deal with all this. The top programmer also walked out. The guy who does the programming schedule, picks what movies, sets everything up, walked out as well. It's all falling apart over there. And TCM isn't just for showing movies on TV. They help with preservation of film. They help by doing film festivals to bring these movies to masses. All of that is just in flux now. I have no idea what's going to happen with any of it.
Why purchase it if you couldn't
Well, it was just one of the
deal
assets.
with it?
It was just one of the assets. It's,
Why purchase things in the first place if you're already floundering?
Well, they thought maybe merging those things would get more people interested. They'd have more product. More people would go to the Max streaming service. I don't know. Just it didn't happen. And I'm actually upset about TCM going away, because they show some amazing films on there, like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, that you've probably never seen, maybe never even heard of.
I've heard of it, yes.
They show it, and it's wonderful. And a lot of it, you get like a foreword from Leonard Maltin, who's a very well-respected critic. I don't know. Luckily, we do have some people who are fighting for it. Steven Spielberg, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Martin Scorsese, 3 of the biggest directors in Hollywood, have actually gone to Warner Brothers to speak to the heads and be like, hey, please don't do this.
Yeah.
Like, understand what TCM means to film in general,
Yeah.
leave it alone. So far, I don't think it's worked. But again, this is a developing story, so it's something we'll follow.
Yeah, you really kind of want people who love films to be in charge of said films.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing going on with WB, Warner Brothers Discovery, is they're trying to sell off music publishing rights. I know this is confusing for some people, so let me kind of explain this to you guys in a way that might make more sense. So when a studio makes a movie and they create the soundtrack, they own the rights to every single song on that soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Nobody can ever use it. You're never going to hear Purple Rain in another TV show, another movie, anywhere, because WB owns the rights to that song. You have to pay them for it. Well, what Warner Brothers is trying to do is sell the rights to those songs. And I don't mean sell off the entire rights. They will basically lease them out.
Oh.
Hey,
You can rent this
we
song.
have this song. You would like to use it? You must buy the publishing rights from us, and then we will allow you to use it. But they still own the song.
So
It's very confusing.
You can rent a song.
Basically, yes. It's renting songs. It's paying a licensing fee to use it for a short amount of time. They're doing it because they are burning through money. They are tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, maybe billions. I don't really know how much their debt is, but that's what they're trying to recoup all this. And that's why TCM is getting gutted, because they're running out of funds. I don't want to say they're running out. They're just running lower than they want to. So they're trying to cut back and raise that revenue, raise that public image of ooh, look how much money we make. Got it, okay? But there's some things you just shouldn't do. What's funny, though, about this story is this first happened back in January. They put all of these movie rights, not the movie rights, the music rights, up for sale. From movies like Batman 89, which we all know what a classic soundtrack is.
Yeah.
Casablanca, as time goes on, they own the rights to that song. People want to use that. Also, Purple Rain. Who doesn't love Prince? Who doesn't want to listen to Prince music? It's never going to be anywhere else because WB owns the rights to it. They've been trying to sell this off, and they listed it for X amount of dollars back in January. Most of the offers coming in were only about a third of that. And so they greatly overvalued their product. And so they've been adding more songs from their vault in to try to spice up the, compensation, I guess. And they're still just not getting the bites that they wish they were getting.
So did they overvalue what they have, or does everyone else just know that they're in trouble and need the money?
Who knows? That's gotta hurt for them, right?
If they don't have to get rid of their rights entirely, if they're just trying to rent these songs out, then I don't think that's as big of an issue as I thought. They were losing their entire rights.
Some they're trying to sell off, where it's you can own the song outright. The ones they were holding back are the ones that they were just trying to do the licensing fees for. Now they're kind of changing up their strategy and saying, hey, we'll just give you the song if you give us the money that we want. And everybody's like, nah, we good. I don't know. It's interesting. How much are they asking? I got $5. I'll give you $5 for as time goes on. It's fine.
No one else can use that song except
ever.
me.
And you owe me a nickel every time. No. It's an interesting thing. And how bad must they be hurting for money to be licensing and selling off some of this music? Because not only on top of that, Max, formerly HBO Max, is now selling the rights to some of their shows to Netflix. Why do you have a streaming service if you're going to sell the rights to your shows to another streaming service? Well, to help them get out of debt. They are in so much debt from this merger with Discovery that they need to sell this stuff off.
Yeah, it feels like they should just get some violinists to start playing as the ship goes down.
They'll go down with the ship, all right. How's James Gunn and all that stuff working out for you now? After the movies that he's not been a part of, because he wasn't a part of The Flash, but both of them were hired on, and they promoted The Flash as the greatest superhero movie, and then it's completely bombed. They're going to have a lot of work to recoup a lot of loss.
You know what you can do? Put out Batgirl.
Put out Batgirl. I would watch it.
Yeah.
I would watch it. Last news thing I want to talk about is ComicCon. ComicCon's going to happen in the middle of July, and it just took a massive hit. So, obviously, COVID happened over the last couple of years, the big global bastard, and Comic-Con was already suffering, and it just took a major hit here. Marvel, Lucasfilm, Universal, Netflix, and Sony have all announced they will not attend this year's event. So Hall H is going to be, I don't know what's going to be there this year.
Yeah.
They all pulled. It's because of all the labor unrest. A lot of unions are still in negotiations. We talked about the Writers Guild strike last week. SAG still hasn't signed their new contract yet. They're very close, though. They're very close. Mm-hmm. But a lot of this labor unrest has scared some studios, and so they don't want to send out people to events because they don't know. Can't afford to.
They don't know what's going to happen.
They don't know what's going to happen. They don't want to announce things. They don't want to do things and then have to retract those statements.
Yeah.
So they've all just up and left ComicCon. So if you have tickets, be prepared to listen to a bunch of DC stuff because that might be the only thing there.
Hey, maybe they'll have some like video games and stuff come in. They'll get into other versions of fandom.
Maybe, but we already had E3 and that didn't go over that well this year either. So it's going to be interesting.
Just go for the fun of being there.
One of the other things that we always end the show on is talking about new movies that are coming out this weekend. And as a correction from last week, I was wrong with the dates. I thought Nimona on Netflix was going to be coming out last Friday. Thought it was going to be releasing on Netflix. It is not. It is releasing this Friday, June 30th on Netflix. I've watched the trailer. I am super excited for it.
We tried to watch it over the weekend and we're like,
we did.
This doesn't actually exist yet.
I wanted to report on it and let you guys know what I thought, but it just wasn't available yet.
Whoops.
So, and the other big movie that everybody's going to go see in theaters this weekend is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So that's going to be the big one. Imagine that's going to be number one come this weekend.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We're going to see where the Flash lands after getting knocked down. Is Transformers going to be able to hang on to that fifth spot with a new movie coming out, which we know is going to make a bunch of money? It's going to get my money. I've already got my tickets.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a review up for it on this channel on Friday. Hopefully. Friday or Saturday. Get that review up for you guys. I'm super excited for Dial of Destiny.
I am too, although I continually forget when it's coming out.
This Friday.
I honestly had to look it up this week. Because if you don't listen to our podcast and doesn't hold up anywhere podcasts are available,
cheap plug.
We did an episode on Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and I wanted to say when we were going to cover the new movie, and I had to look it up because I forgot.
That episode of our podcast just came out today, so as soon as you're done watching this video, go check that out. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys are going to go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. De-aging looks pretty good. Action looks pretty good.
Want
to see where this goes.
It seems like a good story.
This better end it, though. This better end it. I don't want any more Indiana Jones after this. If we want to go to Lily Jones or, whatever.
Yeah, someone else.
Cool. But Indiana Jones has got to be done after this.
As long as it's not Shia LaBeouf.
It won't be. He's not even in this movie. Be crazy if he made an appearance, though, right?
Yeah.
Post-credit scene or something and he's in it.
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay with it.
I would be, too.
It's not Listen, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a bad movie. But he could have been a good follow-up if it would have been a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for us, though, guys. Thank you for joining us to catch up on some of the news, box office, and new weekend releases. Check back in with us every week on Wednesdays. We're going to be releasing these news programs, giving you all the updates and everything. Let us know what you think about any of the stories we talked about in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell for notifications, and click the box right here so that you can watch something else from us. And until next time, take care of yourself, be kind to others, and keep watching movies.
Bye.